Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Anna Nicole, professional makeup artist and your beauty bestie. Today I am giving you a step-by-step breakdown of how you can achieve a long-lasting everyday makeup look. So let's get right into it. So of course I like to go in and clean my face with some witch hazel. This helps refine my pores. And then I like to go in with my serum, which is SNAIL MUCIN. You guys, this leaves my skin feeling so smooth, so plump, and it just looks so glowy on my skin. I've been using this for a while now, and I can say you get a lot of bang for your buck with this stuff, okay? Now I like to just glide this across my skin, and when I tell you it does justice, it does justice. I mean, just look at my skin. Yes, useful, honey. Get into it. Next thing I like to do is go in with my facial moisturizer from Pond's. Again, one of my favorite OG products. It's inexpensive and it does the job and it does it well, honey, okay? So I like to just spread that all over my face and that gives me an extra layer of hydration as well. Now, if you have oily skin, I wouldn't advise you to use such heavy hydration products. Because I do have normal dry skin, this helps me a lot. The next thing I like to do is mist my skin with some setting spray. I'm all about skincare, skin prep, so you guys know I have to take care of my skin before, after, and during my makeup application. Now don't mind my brush, it's a little rusty, but it gets the job done. I'm going in with my NARS foundation and I'm just pumping that on the back of my hand. I found that this helps me get an even spread when it comes to applying my foundation. And I like to go in using a slightly lighter shade because it matches my neck. And for some reason, my face is darker than the rest of my body, which is like the craziest thing. But we make it work. So if you guys are wondering, like, why do you even use foundation? Your skin is literally flawless. Well, I just like an even base to start with. And yeah, we want to make sure that everything is one color over here. So now that our foundation is on, we are going to start our brow process. Now, I like to go in with a loose powder because loose powder for my brows serves two purposes. One, it helps my brows to last longer, and two, it helps me to draw them on easier. So if you struggle to draw in your brows, or if you have a hard time being able to see where you're drawing in your brows, this will help with that. Now, one thing I will like to add when it comes to brows is I used to be so heavy-handed when it came to drawing my brows. So it would be so heavy-handed and my brows would be so dark. So I would like to tell you guys that the lighter you go on your brows, the softer that they would appear. If you like a bold brow, then go all in, be heavy-handed, but for a more soft, glam, everyday makeup look, you definitely want to go in and be light-handed when drawing in your brows. Next thing I like to do is go in with a flat brush. This is actually a paintbrush, but it works the same. I like to go in with that brush and just lightly glide against where I drew in my brows. And this is going to give you a very clean, halo, fresh wax type of brow look. After I finish putting on my concealer though, I like to go in and blend that concealer out with a fluffier brush. And I always start from my lid up into my brows. And this just helps me get a good spread on my eyelids just in case I decide to add some eyeshadow, I would have an even base to do so. Now we're gonna do that other brow, and again, we are just gliding against where we drew in our brow. I will say, however, if you still see skin, you're not adding enough product for your brow look, okay? So make sure that you're adding enough product to your brush or to the back of your hand so that you can get that nice brow shape that, everyone absolutely loves. Next thing I like to do is go in with my foundation and just clean up the top I did just get a fresh wax, so it's really not much to do, but I still like to do this step anyways because it cleans up any extra powder and all that good stuff. So I like to go in with my foundation and just make everything look nice and polished. So the next thing you want to do is make sure that foundation is well blended out over your eyebrows, and you're gonna go over your concealer with some loose powder, and this is going to set everything in place. Now this would be the time where you would go in and do your eyeshadow and all that good stuff, but I'm not wearing eyeshadow for this look, so we're going to skip right into the concealer and contour. Now the concealer that I'm using is from Born This Way in the shade Cookie. Normally I would go in using the shade Mocha and Cookie being my lighter shade, but I just decided to go in with this shade today. And the next thing we're going to do is go in with our contour from Fenty Beauty. Yes, yes, yes. And this is in the shade Ebony. Now I like to use two types of contour sticks. So I like to go in with my nose using a lighter shade, which is Espresso, and then on my jawline and on my cheeks, I like to go in using the Ebony shade, as you guys can see. Now, a little hack that I like to do for my contour is I bring in my cheeks just like how you guys see in the video, making sure that I don't go past my nose, right? And then this is going to help me get that snatched, sculpted type of look for my contour. So I always do this, and it literally snatches my face right on up. So now we are just going to snatch our eyes, adding a little bit of contour beneath our eyebrows, and this is going to give us a nice lift for our eyes. Now I'm going to go in with my blush. I'm not sure what shade this was. I'm going to go back and double check, so you guys can check the description box below to go back and check what blush this was. Next thing we're going to do is blend out that concealer. Always make sure that you're looking up when you're blending your concealer. And you want to take your time with this step simply because you want a seamless blend when it comes to your concealer. Like no concealer left over, okay? So you want to take a small setting brush and blend out your concealer, making sure that you're getting towards the edges. This is going to help for a seamless blend, okay? And remember, like I mentioned before, always look up when you are blending out your under eye. So now we're going to get into our nose contour. I always like to make sure that I am brushing inwards when it comes to snatching the nose. So make sure that you are pushing your brush inward. And then we're going to take our little powder puff and just lightly dab that to blend out our concealer in the middle. And that's pretty much it when it comes to our nose contour. Now you want to go back in and add your bright under eye. Now, if you want a typical everyday makeup look, you can completely skip this step. But I'm a baddie and I like to do a bright under eye. So I do a bright under eye. I let that sit for a while, and then I'll go in with a little bit of my contour and start to blend that out. Next thing we're going to do is take our beauty blender, and we are going to damp this with either some water or setting spray. This is going to give us a very natural blend, okay? So you're going to take that beauty blender and just kind of dab along those lines where you can see the demarcation of your contour and concealer. You're going to use your beauty blender to go in and smooth everything out. So you guys can see how smooth my skin looks. Now we're going to go in with our setting spray, and we're just going to set all of this together. But wait, we are not done, okay? I know that some people like the dewy look, but we want an everyday look that is long lasting, okay? So we're going to take our loose powder and we're going to set those under eyes just like so, okay? Now we're going to go in with our baking powder, and we are going to bake. Now we're not going to do a heavy bake, we're going to do a light bake because this is an everyday makeup look and we're not trying to go full glam, okay? Next thing we're going to do is we are going to take our bronzer from Sephora, and we're just going to lightly dab that on the upper parts of our cheek, and this is going to add a little bit of color, back into our makeup look, because we're not trying to look too pale, or we don't want to look too dull like we don't have any makeup on at all. So all the places of where we put contour, we're going to add bronzer. So now we're going to take any pressed powder of your choice, and we're going to make sure that all of our powders are well blended and that everything is giving tea, okay? Tea, tea, tea. Off camera, I applied my lashes and I added a nude lippie to my lips just to give me that extra pop. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. We definitely had a great time. I hope you took some notes. And be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. As always, you guys can find any of the products that I used today down in the description box. So until next time.